Hello everyone, it's Evelina here. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. In today's video we will be talking about minimalism and of the idea of how having less is actually making us to have more. First we will discuss the basics of this principle of minimalism, and after that I will share with you a couple of steps on how can we transit towards that minimalist lifestyle. So to begin with, just imagine yourself living in a way that you have billion things around you. Endless clothes, endless books, endless accessories. Everything is around you in the room. Just visualize it and visualize yourself inside of that space, which is full of all kind of things which you maybe didn't use for years or even never in your life. How do you feel in such space? Of course, we will be disturbed. Our mind is reflecting the same thing which is happening all around us. So our mind basically is a mess. It's full of all kind of things. The things which we need, the things which we maybe don't need, and the things which we completely don't need. So the idea of minimalism teaches us that we need to let go. We need to let go of whatever doesn't serve us, of whatever is just cluttering in our life. It can be the physical things like our belongings, but at the same time it can be different emotions, different habits, and whatever we keep doing in our daily life. Once we let go of the things which doesn't serve us, which are just cluttering our life, we are creating space for the new good things to come. We are having then space to set into our priorities. We can choose what is the most important and what we want to actually have in our life. Again, it comes into the belongings, into the things which we have, but at the same time it comes into our whole mindset, into our whole lifestyle. Let me share with you a little story. I used to live in Dubai, which is definitely not a minimalist place. It's a big, huge city where everything is basically the biggest, the most expensive, the fastest. And yeah, a lot of people living there are also just surrounded by all this rush, by all this stress to make more, to be more, to become more. Oftentimes we may just bring it into our daily life as well. So at the times when I just moved into Dubai, it was the time when I actually didn't have money. So from the space where I had zero savings, zero money, I came into the place where I was surrounded by all kind of, again, the biggest things, the most expensive things. And at the same time, I got first time in my life like a stable job where I had a solid income, where I lived in the really lovely apartment with a swimming pool, with a sauna and everything available around me. So that was the time when first time actually in my life I had money. So what I did in this beginning period, I remember myself going to the shopping mall and buying things. Buying things, all kind of things which I used to dream that I would love to have. All kind of different expensive brands, different kind of watches and clothes and underwear. Once I came back home, when I spent a lot of money, it was only one time when it actually happened, but once I did it, when I spent all this money for all these things, I just looked at it and I was like, oh my God, do I really need all of that? How could I actually spend so much money only for these things? So it was just very first time when I actually spent so much money for the stuff, for the things which I used to dream before that I would love to have. But this very first time made me realize straight away that, whoa, I actually really need to think of what do I really want in my life? What do I want to spend my money for? Because these things which I thought that I would love to have, ultimately once I had them there, they didn't make me happy. They didn't make me joyful and all. Maybe it was a moment of joy, but after that I just had these thoughts in my head like, whoa, do I really need it? So this was a little story which made me think, what do I really need? What do I want to spend my money for? I spent few more years living and working in Dubai, and after 3 years actually I decided that I'm quitting my job and stepping fully into my passion, which is teaching yoga. I knew that I want to live in Bali and that I want to be sharing yoga in my everyday life. At this point, I still had lot of stuff, lot of things which I accumulated during last 3 years. So yeah, what I had to do at this point, I had to let go of a lot of things, lot of stuff from the kitchen, from the house, from my cupboards, from my cosmetics and so on, and also from my state of mind. So that was like a big cleansing, just letting go, releasing, letting go of all kind of stuff which I don't really need. After this period of cleansing, I ended up with one larger size backpack, which I just put all my life into and I started to travel with. I had also a little bit of different things which I just sent back home to my dad, but I really tried to stick into as essential things as I could, which was a big challenge. However, after this period of cleansing, of letting go of the things which I didn't really need in my life, I just felt so much lighter. There was so much more space for me to live. There was so much less attachment to the different things which I thought I need in my life. And there was just so much more freedom. So I would like to share with you a couple of different steps which were really helpful for me to transit towards this more minimalist lifestyle. The very first step was to let go of whatever doesn't serve us. So whenever we need to let go of whatever doesn't serve us, first of all, we need to look at all kinds of things which we have in life. Of course, I'm giving you an example of material things, but again, it can come into our habits, into our mindset, into our daily life. So let's say here, I'm opening my cupboard and I'm seeing a billion of different things. I'm looking at each of those things and asking myself a question. Do I need it? Do I need it? That's the question number one. And then the question number two, does it serve my priorities? So I will give you a little example. When I was moving out from my house at this time, I had so many different things. One of them was a little cottage cheese maker, which actually my grandmother, who's not anymore in this world, but she gave it to me for some kind of Christmas gift, I remember, if I remember correctly. So I looked at this cottage cheese maker. I was like, oh no, I cannot throw it. It's from my grandma. I have to keep it. How can I throw it? And I kept having this cottage cheese maker for literally like 5 or 7 or more years, and I never ever used it. So did I really need it? No, definitely no. And was it serving my priorities? Neither. It was not. I was never making a cottage cheese myself, even though I like it, but I was just choosing to basically buy it at these times. So I was definitely not in need of having it, and it was not serving my priorities. And in similar way, we can have attachment to many different things. It can be the cottage cheese maker, but it can be also your 17th dress or 15th pair of shoes. It can be also this another portion of some super yummy meal out of the buffet in the big hotel, when you are just stuffing your plate with all kinds of things just because you see them and you feel like eating them. But in all these moments, these two questions will be really helpful. So, do I need it? And does it serve my priorities? So, for example, looking at this buffet, do I need this another portion of the food? Or is it just my cravings? Now, does it serve my priorities? Actually, what are my priorities now? Is it to fuel up my body with a good quality food, to feel energized, to nourish myself? But if I'm feeling full at this moment, this will definitely not serve anymore my priorities. It will just go actually to opposite of my priorities, because instead of having more energy, I will feel less energized and lethargic. So these two questions will be very helpful for us with the step number one, to let go of whatever doesn't serve us. However, the same two questions we can still apply into the step number two, which tells us to reevaluate our choices. So once we let go of whatever doesn't serve us, again, maybe clothes in the cupboard, maybe a lot of cosmetics in the pouch, maybe a lot of things when you are going shopping. Now, as we are again having the opportunity to make choice, again, ask yourself these questions. Whenever you're going to shop, ask yourself the question, once you're getting the product into your hands, do I need it? and doesn't serve my priorities? If with any of these questions you will hesitate, you will think, maybe, but I'm not sure, then probably it means that it's not needed. Having less things helps us to detach from different emotional attachments which we may be just sinking in. At the same time, it helps us to clear the space physically, but also mentally. So as I said at the beginning of the video, when I made you to imagine that you are in this super cluttered, super messy space where there is thousands of different things, we are feeling disturbed, we are feeling tired, we are not having a lot of energy, and we are not able to focus on our priorities because there are so many distractions. So whenever we want to focus on our priorities, whenever we have any kind of goals which we want to work towards, we need to clear the space. We need to let go of whatever doesn't serve us in order to make space for those priorities, for those bigger things to flourish in our life. I must say that I feel much more light, much more happy when I'm living more minimalist lifestyle. Of course, there are still things to work on, and I keep working on it regularly. However, I remember myself having this huge box of cosmetics where I had all kind of different shampoos, hair conditioners, different kind of cosmetics which I used to put on my face. There were just so many different things. And at the moment when I just took time to re-evaluate, do I really need all of those things? There was just so much more space in this box. I just started to remove, to let go. And instead of having so many different cosmetics, I just went for the basics. I just chose one natural soap, which I would use for the body. I would have one shampoo, one conditioner, which would be there. I would have one oil, which I would use for the face and for the body, which was all natural. Instead of all the perfumes, I just had one little essential oil, which I would mix with the oil itself and apply it or on the body or also on the hair. So ultimately, this huge box of cosmetics became a little cosmetic pouch where I would have all my essential things. And it made it so much easier to move around, so much easier to travel, and so much easier also in the daily life. Because when we have all these kind of things, we are thinking that we need to use all of that in our life. We need to put all of that on our body, on our face. But actually, once we let go of that, once we stick into the essentials, we create so much space and we have so much more time. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, if you resonate with some of that, please share a comment and share with me how is your journey of living more minimalist lifestyle. I would love to hear from you, would love to get inspired by your stories, and I wish you all the best. Sending you lots of love. Bye!